Hi guys, and welcome back to Night of the Blackwater. I am Ben, and this is Deck Talk. Today I'm joined by George from thronesnonsense.blogspot.
WordPress.
Damn, that's
So close.
That's so close. And I'm not doing another take. That's about 4. And this is the second time I tried doing this video, so I'm hoping we're still going to do in-depth talk, but it feels like we've talked a lot about this deck. So,
oh yeah, I mean, trust me, guys. There was so much good stuff last time. You've just trust us. It was incredible. So if we don't quite hit the absolute zenith of Thrones analysis that we did last time, forgive us.
Yes. No, I mean, it did help that I kind of worked out the deck halfway after talking for it. So there's loads of really interesting stuff, which now I know about. But yeah, so George, what is this deck and why should people be playing it?
Well, so I originally built this deck when I was going through some cards I wanted to break. I came to Spawn to the Watch, which is, I think, a really interesting attachment. Not just for giving out traits, but giving out the Night's Watch affiliation. It felt like there was some fun stuff to be had. So I'd seen a Night's Watch Kraken deck that was built by Paul Geddes from the UK meta, who was using Sworn to Watch on Asher to then stand her up mid-military challenge and give her 2 power using Gren.
Yeah.
I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How can I build a different deck? What other characters could I swear who are getting interesting interactions? And so I was looking at characters who could theoretically be standing while attacking in a military challenge, and are non-loyal, so you can go in a Night's Watch deck. And the list is relatively short. There's some decent Targ cards in there, but the one that most obviously stood out was Randyll Tarly, because it's pretty easy to stand Randyll Tarly during a challenge.
Is it?
And so I hear. I mean, spoilers. He's a good card, right?
He's all right.
But as soon as you attach Sworn to the Watch to Randyll, things get very, very interesting very quickly, because suddenly you have a whole wealth of Night's Watch only triggers that can be used to stand Randyll all the time. The most obvious of these is the Dragonglass Dagger. So you attach that to Randyll once he's been sworn to the Watch, and suddenly every time you initiate a challenge with Randyll or you put him into a challenge, he gets +2 strength from the dagger and stands back up instantly. So this is just glorious in practice. It's incredibly annoying to play against because there's just nothing you can do about it. You can cancel a stand here or there, but this is one of the first decks I've built where Randyll's 2 per phase limit is incredibly limiting, because with the dagger and then with 3 Halder who can kneel Sworn, the dagger, Cravens, Ghost, there's astonishing numbers of triggers that you could get off Randyll. But sadly, we are limited to 2. But that is the deck. Originally, this deck I built for the blog was a wall deck, but I've since taken that out to try to experiment with some other stuff. I was talking to media luminary and Cardiff champion Dan Kay about this deck, and he was suggesting to me a build which uses Political Disaster, which is a plot that I've been wanting to find room for in unexpected decks for a while, especially because it's now really emerging as a seriously good option in competitive decks. But a lot of the time at the moment, you can pretty much see when it's coming. So like Rain's decks, sure, you flip out the reserve. Martell with the fiefdoms, yeah, I could see it. People aren't expecting Political Disaster in a Night's Watch deck, by and large.
No, they're expecting Night's Watch to be the victim of Political Disaster, not the person initiating it.
Exactly. So it seemed like a fun option to experiment with, especially because the Night's Watch reducing location, the Underground Vault, the Gold Generation, is so good. In practice, I find that most turns it's switched on, and if you have any kind of a board mid-game, 2 Underground Vaults going into Political Disaster is often all you need to recover. So I switched out things like Great Hall for King's Roads, so I don't have to keep all of my economy on the table. And it works surprisingly well. It can really, really surprise people. and it can clear out some problem locations that can mess with Randyll, or it can clear out economy instead. Either way, I'm fine with that. And so it becomes more of an aggro deck. So previously the deck was sort of using Randyll as a guy who could just stand and defend the wall twice around. And if you really wanted to try to mess with that, you would just feed him your renown. Now it's more closely focused on quick power grab. Like theoretically, if you get Randyll in the right number of challenges, you could have 3 renown on him plus 2 power from Gren in a turn. Then you get something like a Superior Claim off or a Clash of Kings, and it adds up very, very quickly. Meanwhile, you've got Jon Snow in this deck, who is a card that I love. Been playing a lot of Night's Watch Reigns recently.
I love that deck.
Oh, it's so entertaining. And Jon, as soon as you get him going, is just a machine. Being able to stand multiple characters on defense, or even just himself on attack, is massive. And so, yeah, he sort of becomes the alternative to Randyll in this deck when you can't get all your attachments going. You just have Jon as this beast who holds off while you get everything set up and can close a game with sheer numbers.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like the Reigns deck when you play the Fire That Burns go second.
Oh yeah, Fire the Burns to Reigns is just delightful. And then you've got Bowen Marsh in play, so you win that opposing intrigue with 5 stewards and draw 5 cards while you flip into claim.
Yeah, it's a fun deck, but yeah, so obviously, yeah, the core of the deck is really to make like most decks which have Tyrell involved, to have a bit of a Voltron Randyll potentially. I assume the other Tyrell cards are just to kind of work off him mostly.
Mostly, so yeah, three Marjorie is just, yeah, I want to be able to boost Randyll even when I don't have the Night's Watch attachments on him, and so you play 3 Marjorie and 1 Crown of Golden Roses just to add that little bit of redundancy to the Randyll stand. The Crown can also go on Littlefinger if you really need it to, just as a place to put things and make some use of your cards, doesn't become dead. Playing 3 Bury the Maiden Fair, which I've been liking a lot just to smooth out the finding of your pieces. Because there's quite a few cards in this deck which we're running 3x uniques. And so if one dies early, which is a possibility, you can then start filtering out the dead dupes, and you can make sure you're seeing the swarms that are so key to putting all the other things on Randyll afterwards. So that's kind of the filter of the deck, sort of placing that alongside the Counting Coppers and Time of Plenty in the plot deck, just to ensure that you can find your pieces without having to devote plot slots to summons and building orders. And then it rounds out the Tyrell cards with 2 Caretakers, because setup is good. We're running 3 Jon Snow, so more 1-costers aren't bad.
You got 8 1-costers by the looks of it.
Yeah, so yeah, anything to smooth out that. If you can draw 5 cards on the setup, then you get more chances of putting together your combo.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just the smoothing out of the curve there.
So yeah, you say it looks. I mean, obviously, I say having seen it in action, although probably less successfully, which is probably good for this video didn't save.
Yes, we might get a bit luckier in our opponents this time.
No Martel, please, today, guys. No Martel. Obviously, so Benjin, you are running Valor. So is that to try and finish him off, or is that more to try and sort of stealth?
It's kind of both. I mean, I think Benjin with Valor is such a good option to close, particularly because on a clash turn, this deck can jump up very quickly, but it might not get to 15. And so if you can get to 13 and then Valor Benjin away, happy days. It also means that once you've got the Sworn to the Watch attachment on Randyll, he gets the Ranger trait and therefore can't be stealthed with Benjin on the table, which is quite nice. It was better in the wall deck, but it's still useful as a deterrent in a lot of situations.
Yeah.
And he's a Ranger trait himself, which sort of justifies the spicy 2x Watcher on the walls in this deck. There are only really, I think, 5 Rangers in the deck. You've got Benjin, the Ranging Party, Gren, and then Randyll maybe. So yeah, 4 in fact. But what I like about Watchers in this deck is that when you get the Sworn to the Watch attachment out on Randyll, yes, he gets the affiliation, and people see you start adding the other Night's Watch attachments. It's very easy to forget that he's also a Ranger. And so, because he's so trivial to stand back up, kneeling him and like one other dude to kill on a military challenge sounds good to me.
Yeah. Defend with him, then boost him with Marge, and then trigger this, or the other way around, maybe. Either way, yeah.
I suspect, like, if I were going to take this to a tournament tomorrow, I would probably swap out the Watchers for the Nightmares just to be on the safe side.
But where's the spice in that?
Well, indeed, and it is very, very satisfying when you get that hit off, and can swing a game if your opponent doesn't see it coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that little extra bonus there.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, and seeing people do it with Castle Black, where you put one in to defend, stand him up, and then kneel two down to do Watchers to clear the board, or to clear the board, but also just in case there's any shenanigans, you still got the guy defending. It's a good combo. Obviously, looking at the rest of the deck, you got a lot of attachments, and I seem to remember last time talking about the fact that there's no Little Bird to give Randyll the Steward trait as well.
Yes, that was one of the last things I had to cut, really. It's exciting. I was originally trying to do a couple of appointed in there, and you stick a copy of Satin in as well for even more stand on Randyll. But it extends the combo that you have to put together a little bit too far to be reliable.
Yeah.
I mean, there is something to be said for attachments that don't need a Night's Watch character, so that you can put on before Randyll gets sworn. But in practice, it's just a little bit too much. And so you have the beefy Jon Snow intrigue defense, and you can use Marjorie to buff things like the Shadow Tower Masons, which are almost always switched on in this deck.
Yeah, with that many attachments, I imagine they would be. Just quickly go through the attachments. Obviously, Craven. We need to not say anymore. That card's just good.
Yeah, it's good, and it's a Howler trigger.
Yeah. Glass Dagger talks about Stan Randyll. Obviously, again, also being +2 strength in challenges is not a bad ability. Also, the current meta, all these attachments make you immune to Dragon is no Slave.
Yeah,
which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's a useful effect even without the bonus from the stand. With the stand, it's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah. Ghost, assumed to keep Jon Snow or Randyll alive.
Yeah, those are really the targets you want for it. Because we can't really justify bodyguards in this deck because it's only Randyll and Littlefinger who are lords. You just want a little bit of extra save capacity outside of Aemon.
And Marge. Marge could have a little.
Marge could take it as well, but she's not a character you're desperately caring about here. And so, Ghost is another Howler trigger who we can then use to intercept some trouble. We see it earlier, so the Happy Days. And is a useful little card. I would love to run possibly a second one just to ease my mind, but hopefully with the filter, we just make sure we see all the saves we need.
And obviously, say really ready comes to one to watch to give either. Obviously, not really Randyll the trait.
Yeah, Randyll is by far and away the most important target for Sworn. And in a lot of scenarios, if you have 2 copies, I would probably marshal both of them on Randyll.
Right.
Because you don't want to get your Sworn to the Watch confiscated, and then that triggers the dagger and Ghost to also fall off at the same time.
The other interesting thing from this, though, is the fact it's a condition, where surely I'd thought it would be a title.
It's more of a state of mind, I guess.
I don't know. But you're joining the Watch, so you've joined the Watch, you've been sworn, your title is now Brother of the Watch. Condition seems a little.
I guess when they print Brother of the Watch attachment, that would have the title. Sworn is like a
maybe. I don't know. Seems a bit.
Maybe it desperately needs to be controlled by Crescent. Who knows?
Maybe they're just that determined.
You can visit Maester and they'll cure you of your
of your watchness. You've joined the Watch. Oh my God! Come here, lay down. Take 2 of these. Again, just go for the other characters quickly. Obviously, we've talked about all the 1 costs, and obviously Steward of the Wall, Messenger Raven, your draw and kind of basic econ engine.
Yeah.
Shadow Tower Mason are just, with this many attachments, it's just worth putting them in because they're just good cards. Who doesn't want a 2-coster that can have every icon?
They're so amazingly efficient, and like if you get a spare dagger, putting it on them is almost never a bad idea.
Yeah. One-off ranging party, so only one-off, which is normally a 3-off in most decks.
It would be one of the first things I would add if I could justify more deck slots, but I can't. I would love to get like another couple in there to trigger the Watchers more reliably, but they can't be saved. They're not really like doing all the things that you need the deck to do. The deck is really focusing on. I would have played more in the wall deck, I think, just for the raw icon spread. But because they don't get renown, I've not got any long claw in the deck. It's just a good, efficient card that I'm running too many other cards to justify a high presence.
I guess if this was a normal wall deck, Gren wouldn't be in there, and you probably would then look at more ranging parties.
I would probably be on fewer Gren. I mean, the combo originally was like, Randyll, Sworn, Dagger, Gren, as like this big, ridiculous swing. In practice, I think Gren may not need to be at 3x, but it's funnier that way.
Yeah, it's definitely funnier.
So, yes, I would probably at least consider switching out to 2 and 2 in the wall deck.
I guess also as well, Benjin would also be probably, if he wasn't so good and have the ability where he dies, it doesn't matter, he'd potentially be a one-of, and you'd have another ranging party there.
Yeah, that's a change that you could easily consider, and it wouldn't do too much damage to the deck.
Yeah, but we were saying with Benjin's ability, because if it's not like a normal unique. Oh, he's dead. Damn, I drawn the second one.
Yeah.
It's he's dead. Cool. Here's 2 power. Put him back on the deck. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Yeah, he's a thing you want to see. The stealth ability isn't as useful as it was in the wall deck, but the power gain is power gain.
Also, you got Eamon, who's just your good, saves everyone. There's no here to serve though, so is you not as worried about seeing him in this?
It's a plot slot thing. He's like, if you don't have the Sworn out, you can't save Randyll with him, which then kind of to me makes it more important that you get your combo sorted and you find the dupes or you find Ghost. It's a card I want to see, and with coppers and plenty in the filter events, I should see him.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel crucial to me because we're not defending the wall, so we're not ensuring that we have the icon spread at all times. So we don't need to save that like Old Forest Hunter or what have you to make sure we still have the military icons out on the board.
Yeah.
He's a good card that as soon as we see him, we'll play him. But we don't need to go fetch him as a matter of utmost priority.
And just to kind of cover over the plots, obviously, Clash of Kings kind of talks about that's, I assume, your closer.
In almost all scenarios, yes.
Yeah. Confiscation is just a card pretty much everyone has to be running at the moment until... because I really, really, really don't want to milk Randyll. No, you don't want to milk Randyll until some more of these new ways of getting rid of negative attachments, like the events coming in the next pack.
Tibweird, I can't wait.
Yeah. And then and obviously you've got the Mace in the Tyrell box.
That will be very entertaining, yes.
Yeah. Oh, you've milked my Randyll, have you? Okay, well, he just disappears for a phase, comes back about it. You might lose the power, but yeah, I do think the point negative attachments might have to have a rethink if they are terminal.
I agree. Yes, I think we'll see some more dynamic options around that end of the spectrum.
Counting Coppers card draw is good. Political Disaster we've talked about because it's unexpected in this. Time of Plenty is the opener, I'm assuming?
Most of the time, yes. Because you want to have that high reserve with the Ravens, and 6 gold gets you Randyll, and it also helps you dig for your combo pieces.
Obviously, the trading, again, that's assuming that's just in there because you want a turn of going, right, I just need to get my combo out, or I need to get a bigger board presence this turn.
Exactly. If you're playing against like a reset heavy deck, you might need to assemble the Randyll and Dagger combo out of nowhere. Your board is clear.
And yeah, obviously, you can't kind of go for some of the other options like Noble Cause because it's well, not really worth it. With
Yeah, at 7 gold, when you have only 7 lords or ladies in the deck, and you could get more money out of trading. Typically, I don't really mind what my opponent does with that extra 3 gold, because in all likelihood, it's not going to be something that can overpower a tricked up Randyll.
No, and the other option might be calling the banners, but obviously if you're running Valor and the opponent's running Valor, calling the banners might not be the best option.
Yeah, I like the initiative on calling, and it's usually a pretty good mid game plot, but sometimes you just need 10 gold, no questions asked.
Yeah, that's fair. There's a amount of times I've been messing around with calling a lot recently, and there's a few times I'm like, I really wish there was another plot.
And I think trading gets more valuable in a deck that runs King's Roads over Great Halls because you're going to extinguish your economy more quickly.
Yeah, this is more bursts, whereas he's right. Calling the banners, you go, I've only got 6 gold, but it's fine. I've got these 2 Great Halls out and a Rose Road. I'm actually okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, cool. I guess then, what's the deck's main strength, and then what's its weaknesses?
Its weakness is sort of heavy control on Randyll. So if you get Milk, Martell icon attachments are really quite irritating.
Really?
Yeah, because obviously you need Randyll to be in challenges to win loads of power.
Yeah.
So yeah, that can be frustrating. He doesn't care about sort of control via Neil or anything like that, but you do have to be careful if you're trying to hold back to set up your combo. You need to be wary about Baratheon decks that are running New Mel. You have to find a way to get him out and then think about saving him later. But it can very happily deal with things like the Lannister decks that just spit out good guys, because it can spit out a really, really, really good guy, and they probably can't do anything about that. And yeah, anything that's too heavy on locations is just not going to see the political disaster coming, and also then may not have the raw board presence to deal with your massive characters. It's been quite versatile so far, because it can just have that one big turn where it puts on a lot of power, and if you can then protect that Randyll or that John with the dupes that you need, then there's not a lot that can really stop it. You just have to make sure that you get set up in the early game.
No, I mean, obviously, as we said at the beginning, we did try and do this last time, and we faced 2 Martell decks, or at least one was a banner. And
I think the Martell matchup is probably the trickiest.
Which is weird, because normally Night to Watch don't care about Martell too much.
Yeah, but sadly, we actually want to attack this in this deck, so things get more complicated.
But no, cool. Okay, guys. Well, that's the first video. As you know, if you've seen this before, follow either the playlist as part of, or just come back to the channel, and us using the video in game will be posted straight at the same time. So until then, guys, it has been emotional.